newcomers, so for institutions and organizations that for the first time are starting their processes of practicing open and responsible research and innovation. We can support them for 1 year projects, and during the course of their project, we will provide them with other services like training and mentoring to really try to stabilize their pathways toward open, responsible research and innovation. And it's really a sort of incubation of open, responsible research and innovation. And for this, the name is incubators. But then we also know there are so many institutions and organizations and actors already experience it in open, responsible research and innovation, because after 10 years of RRI, responsible research and innovation, and of course also open science activities, very often supported by the European Commission, for instance, through the Science and Wisdom for Society program, but also other initiatives also beyond Europe. We know that there is a community of actors of research and innovation already dealing with the practices of ORRI. But at the same time, we know that this organization can need a boost to really enhance their experience and their practices in open, responsible research and innovation, something to reinforce their capacities, their capabilities, their skills, and their practices in implementing open, responsible research and innovation. And so for this, we have foreseen another kind of grant called Booster to boost their activities in open, responsible research and innovation. We have started to launch our grants with a Booster 1. And so today we are talking about the results and the outcomes of this experience of our first Booster call, with a very specific topic, because for each round of open calls, we select a specific topic, because we think there are specific gaps in the ORRI community or urgencies that we need to cope with during our project. And we started with responsible open innovation. To coordinate the work of our grantees, we asked our partner, one of our amazing partners, EBN, the European Business and Innovation Center network, to coordinate the work of our first grantees. And so I leave the floor to the person representing EBN, who has managed the work altogether of our first grantees, Maria Jose Marquez.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. I would like to share a brief presentation so I can really give you an overview and you can really understand, I would say, better. Here. Okay, perfect. I think you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks to be here today. Thank you, Angela, for your words. Indeed, as she was saying, I'm part of EBN, the European Business and Innovation Center network, and we were in charge of the coordination of the first booster open call. So to give you a short overview, as she said, the first one was an ORRI booster of 20K for those who already had experience on RRI to implement a project during 8 months. So here on the slide, you can see a short overview of the timeline to the process we followed until we launched the call. Starting the preparation of the text call in April, launching the call in November, and finally selecting the grantees by February 24. In June 23, in Brno, Czech Republic, we held the EVN Congress focused on innovation in uncertain times, where we held a workshop with the aim of determining the topics for the first open call. During the session, we get around 20 participants from the innovation ecosystem, such as government representative, accelerators and incubators of startups, also some startups itself. And in addition, we also had the presence of Paco Pizarro, representative of Fundecit in Spain, and Moises Museos, representative of CITIC in Cyprus, who contributed as experienced RRI speakers, who gave us their point of view on projects that they already ran and how they started, the barriers they faced, and basically to start the conversation with the audience. During the conversation, the participants shared the problems, inconveniences, and barriers that they have encountered while they were implementing RRI in the projects or in their own companies. Here on the slide, you can see some of those problems. Basically, they were mainly very concerned about the lack of resources or the lack of trustness from investors. Sometimes how confusing can be the concept of RRI, the difficulty in making a real follow-up of the results or the sustainability of the initiative through the time, and also problems related with IPR, for example, or the problems that they were encountering while trying to engage the stakeholders of the data ecosystem. So that's why when we designed the call text, we decided to focus on challenges rather than sectors or countries. So here you can see some examples that were included in the call text that we included to give some inspiration to the applicants. But it was always very emphasized that the applicants could focus on a challenge that was not on the list, as long as it was duly justified, and they could address more than one challenge if they considered convenient. Finally, we had the grantee selected. Basically, we granted 6 projects in total. Cocos Food Tech by Institute of Food Technology of Novi Sad, Arriba by the Centro Europeo de Empresas e Innovación de Murcia, Impact Pathways EU, run by Science, A Tracking by the Fondazione Together to Go on LAS, the project Deep by the Fight to Stroke organization, and the last but not least, the Europe B models by Alice Gave Nile organization. That would be everything from my side. I think I was short enough. And with no more delays, I would like to give the floor to Dragana, who is the first grantee that will share their outcomes. Sorry, to Julie, my bad. I think she's here. Or maybe we can.
Yeah, maybe we can start with
Exactly,
the second, who's Dragana.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just start to share the screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, good afternoon. Greetings from the Institute for Food Technology in Novi Sad, Serbia. It is my great pleasure today to be here with you and to have the opportunity to present the results of our COCOI Food Tech project. Our project focused on co-creation of open innovation in food technology. With this project, we wanted to advance knowledge creation and its application in food science and to tackle societal challenges related to food sector. We managed to strengthen ORRI principles through collaboration between scientists, food industry, and citizens. In this project, our main objective was to strengthen food science by including society into scientific research through multi-stakeholder engagement. Our first step was to define Open Innovation Pathway as a document that will help us to develop and commercialize new food products and technologies. After that, we organized 4 very successful workshops with over 20 participants in each workshop, with the aim to empower our colleagues to lead and participate in co-creation activities with citizens and food industry in this, but also in all the future projects. And finally, based on these previous activities, we created Food Innovate Canvas Thinking Tool. It is a specific tool to aid socially engaged and inclusive innovation in food sector. Our first step was to define open innovation roadmap by summarizing the existing open innovation practices based on scientific papers, corporate white papers, and our previous experience in the projects we successfully managed to realize. Our workshops focused on citizens' inclusion, and we had 4 different topics. Together with citizens, we created ideas on how to turn agricultural waste into food innovations, how to use industrial waste to create innovative food products. We also wanted to show citizens and scientists that science can also be fun using a Lego Serious Play methodology. And at our workshop, we focused on ideation of food products by working with concrete food samples and trying to ideate food products that citizens and the market would actually need. The main result and one of the most important results of our project is Food Innovate Canvas Thinking Tool. This is a 12-step thinking tool in a form of questions and suggestions for creative and inclusive innovation in food technology, with special focus on all the relevant social actors. By using our thinking tool, we can help you to manage, to create very important partnerships, adapt to feedback, and create innovations that truly connect with the society needs. Food Innovate Canvas is a guide to create innovative solutions in collaboration with society. 12 modules help to address key steps, starting with problem definition, ideation, testing, but all that with active community involvement. It is also an inclusive tool for multi-stakeholder environment to ensure inclusive and very impactful research. It can also be used as a roadmap to structure projects, ensuring societal input in every stage, from identifying challenges to measuring the project outcomes. And this is the final look of our thinking tool that can be found at ORRI platform. We suggest that you use this thinking tool on a paper because it is printable in A1 format to make it more interactive and more suitable for teamwork and very active and engaging workshops. Additionally, for each step, we prepared a special card with additional questions, possible challenges that users might face in each phase, from problem definition to finally reflection zone. And it also provides very useful tips on how to overcome all the possible challenges. It is an interactive tool for work in groups, and we suggest to use this tool together with other business and product delivery tools to ensure very comprehensive and inclusive product development. Additionally, when we created this thinking tool, we decided to verify its implementation through a similar project in food sector. We, together with colleagues from the Faculty of Technology in Novi Sad and their teams, we verified all the steps of this thinking tool, and all their comments and important inputs were implemented in the final version of thinking tool. Also, it is created for food sector, but it can be used in different sectors with very slight modifications. It is available online on the platform, And we invite you all to use this tool and share the feedback with us so that we can continue to improve this tool and to adapt it to all the future societal challenges that that users might face. With the COCOI Food Tech, I have to say that we really raised awareness on the importance of citizens' engagement in science, especially in food sector. We advanced our scientific knowledge. We definitely fostered collaboration with society and strengthened the adoption of ORRI principles in food technology, while also improving FIN's capacities. Outcomes are also related to increased knowledge and awareness among all the relevant stakeholders. We helped our colleagues to improve their skills. We also faced some behavioral and procedural changes at our institute through the strengthened collaboration and networking and improved inclusivity. I have to say that with COCOI Food Tech, we set up the foundation for implementation of ORRI principles, not only in FINS, but also beyond in other food-related sector companies and institutions. The key lessons we learned through this project is the importance of social inclusivity in all phases of food products development, and the stakeholders' awareness of importance of ORRI principles. At the beginning, when we started with the project implementation, we realized that we need more documents and pathways or roadmaps to guide us through this process. But thanks to COCOI, we turned this challenge into our advantage, because through the project we created really useful tools that will help not only us but also to all the other users with similar needs. And also we realized that we have to, when we focus on citizens' engagement, we needed more informal document in the form of a pathway, but in informal language, especially for citizens and people that are not from the food industry. So we also created this pathway that we use for the project, and we will definitely use it in all the other and future projects when it comes to citizens' engagement, because citizens can get information what to expect at workshops, how can they join us, and any different useful tips. At the end, I have to say that thanks to COCOI, we had the opportunity to learn more about ORRI practices, and to become what we want is to become one of the leading institutes in the region for promoting ORRI principles in food technology and bridging the gap between science, industry, and society. At the end, I would like to thank on behalf of COCOI team. I have to say that we really had a very strong support and help from our experienced colleagues when it comes to ORRI principles. And what is also very important for us, that we had a lot of young scientists who were very motivated to gain more knowledge about ORRI principles and to help in the implementation of the project. And I'm pretty sure that they will be very successful advocates of ORRI principles at our institute in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dragana. So now we are gonna follow up with a round, well, a mini discussion with our partner from Novi Sad, who will lead a 5-minute discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Dragana, for your presentation. Lots of pictures and lots of smiles on those pictures we could see. So that would be my first question. What were the impressions of the employees from your institute who participated in these workshops? Can you transfer somehow what was the experience of the, I believe, staff that was included in the workshops and that was not part of the project team?
Yes, part of them was already had experience with ORRI principles, but for most of our colleagues, it was a new experience. And when we explained to them more about the project and what are the benefits, they were very eager to participate. And as you can see in the pictures, the impressions were very positive. I have to say that here we also had the help of external facilitator who really managed to guide them throughout the workshops and to make the workshops very engaging, active, and to be very motivated to take part in them. And also with the citizens, because after the workshops, the word of mouth was very positive, and the citizens were talking about the workshops, recommended their friends and family the benefits of taking part in these workshops. And Finns colleagues, after the workshops, their most important impressions are that they really gained valuable knowledge that they can implement in all the future activities and the projects. And I'm sure after this, there will be even more societal engagement in our activities.
Yes, so basically you also invited citizens, let's say from the street, to participate in these workshops, right?
Citizens who
Yeah.
are interested in food industry, yes. We also had some contacts from previous projects, but also people who heard from our previous participants very positive impressions, and they signed to take part in the workshops.
Yeah, and one more thing from my side, I saw that the thinking tool has 12 steps and it looks quite complex. Is it intended to be used like in one workshop for one day, or is it, you said that it should be printed and put on a wall, right? So I guess it's not for one day use, right?
No, definitely. Depends on the project needs and every user's needs, but we suggest to have more workshops, or even 12 workshops, one for each step, because the point of the thinking tool is to start teamwork and to the participants to share their opinions, and yes, maybe one step at a time. So just to get the full results and very successful overview of the whole process.
Great. Okay, I have no other questions or ideas. Anybody else? No, then I thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Peter, for very useful questions.
Thank you, Peter. So now we're gonna go to our next grantee, Julie, that's now with us. If you wanna share your project.
Yes, thank you very much, and sorry about my late arrival, and thank you for the one who jumped in and presented their project before me. Are you sharing the screen, or shall I share my screen? Do you have the slides?
No,
You can share your screen, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
No?
Okay. Okay, I'm not familiar with Zoom, but sorry, I don't find the.
I can show my screen if
Oh,
you want.
I've got it. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see it now.
Not
Yes.
in presentation mode, but
Well, not in presentation mode, but we see it, yeah.
Okay. Why not in presentation mode?
Because we are seeing the drive actually.
Okay. Here you are. And now, is it okay?
Yeah, perfect
Yes.
now.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry. So the project, first of all, So Science, we've been working on responsible research and innovation for 10 years now. So we're a practitioner. We basically launch collaborative ecosystems to make sure that researchers are working with the ORRI principles. So we built ecosystem, we launched consortia, and we launch discussion between the quadruple helix actors. So we raise, we gather actors from the academic side, from the industrial and economic world, public organization, and non-profit. So we've been doing that for 10 years. We have a method, we have a training as to the societal impact. And so basically, we are really guiding researchers and research organization and industrial companies to understand the RRI principles and criteria. So we've been working with the impact pathway as a tool for the last 6 years or so. And we know that when we train people to understand the impact pathway, they really understand the principles by doing the impact pathway. So they understand that by framing the right problem and aligning their problem with societal needs, and then by identifying the right target group and doing the whole work of structuring their impact pathway, they have a more sustainable research process. They accelerate the transfer, and they really think their research project in a more broadened and sustainable way. So basically, for the Reinforcing project, we wanted to digitalize this expertise and this approach by making a tool which would be the impact pathway. It's really about guiding step by step professional of research to plan and structure ex ante their research and innovation projects, to make sure they align their projects with European frameworks, so the objectives of societal changes and all the objectives of public policy, and to make sure that they really think ahead of their projects the impact, because sometimes for the researcher it's not a part of their jobs, to make an anticipation of their impact. It's really not their work. So if we can help them to set clear and specific objectives of impact, if we can help them to imagine and have a projection of their work change towards society and the planet, we think that it's really important to guide them. So the tool was co-designed. We interviewed 50 professionals users. So there was researchers, different seniority, knowledge transfer officer, European manager, support staff. We also interviewed deep tech entrepreneurs and cluster and innovation actors. And what we understood is that today, only European managers were really interested in the tool because they have the need to structure the pathway, the impact pathway, for European grant proposal. So we really try to focus on their needs, and we enhance and enlarge the scope of the projects, because they said the impact pathway is great, but if we have to integrate it in the proposal, we have to have a global proposal at the as an output of the work, and not just the impact pathway, because we are still already working on with other tools. So we try to have a tool who was really more encompassing the whole work of a European manager. So we designed a tool which is online since the beginning of February. So the main feature, which will be free for everyone, is really to guide the project managers and researchers to structure. So we have all the question, what is the problems you are aiming at, you're aiming to solve, who are the target group, what is your deck plan, and the tool will explain to them how to optimize. So, you know, in red, you have it's not specific enough, it's not clear enough, or it's not consistent with the context. So we try to have analysis check during all the process to make sure that at the end everything is green lighted, and all the dissemination activities, the context, even the way the problem is stated in the context fits with the impacts. So to do that, we also started a key indicators database, which is SDG based, because most of our users say sometimes we don't even know how to qualify the impact. So we help them with a database that we really are constructing, because there are a lot of SDG based indicators database, but they are not adapted to research projects. So that's we aim at 700 indicators, and we already have 250 on the database. So beyond impact, this assistant writing tool for grant proposal will really be a collaborative tool, so that people can define their work package, export their proposal, structure their projects towards the better impact. And the analysis is not only with impact, but as I said, on consistency of the proposal. What we learned during this work is there was really a need for acculturation. Even when people are interested by the impact, only the one who are in their work facing issues regarding impact are interested by the tool. So even if, you know, researcher or research organization are engaged in, you know, the impact and the transformation of their work, if there is not an incentive, they don't really feel the need, and they don't really have the time to transform themselves. So there is still a need for acculturation, training, and we hope that our tool will really help them to skill up and understand the need for this new mindset. So there is no motivation without financial incentive. That's why our first user are really the one who need to have this impact pathway. There is a really cultural barrier. Is it? Yep. To change. I mean, there is a cultural mindset to transform. And if we don't have incentive from national authorities and organization, the researcher won't have the time and won't consider that it's part of their job. So it's really for the ORRI whole community. I think there is a lot of job to be done again for changing the mindset, and so that they can understand that there is a benefits of integrating those principles within their work. Because once they are trained and onboarded, and once they test the tool, and once they understand what it brings to them, to the scientific question, to the process, and to the outcomes, they really are into it. We faced, probably as many of you, a lot of challenges. The time to engage stakeholders and to find the one who are really interested in the subjects, it took us much more time than we thought it would. As I said, the actual needs of the user, the time they have, we had to adapt and adjust the tool to what they really had, to align this with their day-to-day needs. We also have a lot of confidentiality and security interrogation, because our tool integrates some AI features, for example, to accelerate or to transform or to sum up some text. So we have clients who were really wondering about the confidentiality of the data that they put into the tool. So we had to change the tech and to change our roadmap and to change our tech team. So it took us a lot of times of delays as well. And we also faced administrative constraints, because people wanted to test the tool, but we had to sign with them, and sometimes we have to integrate the technical team beside the one who were in charge of the European projects. So what's next? What I can invite you to do is to put yourself on to test the tool. So please do so. We face some bug still already. So if you have any trouble, please send me an email. And thank you very much for the team of reinforcing and for this the grants. And I'm ready for your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. So now our partner, Ralph from Fraunhofen, will open a brief discussion with this project. Ralph?
Yes, thank you very much, and congratulations, Julie, through this excellent work. I'm quite fascinated. It was also great to see, like from the point when all the grantees started and where we are now. So it's really good to see all these results. Thanks for sharing the link to the tool, because actually I would have liked to try it out before our meeting today. I didn't find it online, but I'll definitely check it out afterwards, because indeed I think, and it's probably true for many of us, judging from my own experience, developing the impact section in Horizon Europe proposals is one of the most challenging parts of these proposal writing phases, and having such a tool is actually very much needed. So I think that fulfills a very important purpose. What I was wondering when I listened to you, because you mentioned kind of the challenges that you ran into while developing this, and I can imagine there have been many more challenges probably than you listed. But I think one of the issues that probably comes up in many of our grantee projects is involving stakeholders or citizens, and you name it. This seems to be a kind of a classic problem, and you kind of obviously managed to tackle that one. Any thoughts and any ideas, and maybe recommendations to kind of the next grantees that will be funded? Any good practices on how to deal with this challenge? I'm asking for, I guess, for all of us, but also for me personally, because it is really difficult to get that working.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ralph, for this question. And we have, of course, we've been practicing that for 10 years, so we are not used to understand how to gather different stakeholders on one topic. So basically, we have to understand each other. So when you are a researcher, you are talking research. So your vocabulary and your mindset and the focus is really oriented towards the the scientific questions. So we need to make like an API, between people. So how can we have like a problem that really triggers everybody? So that's basically what we do. We try to have a common language that talks to scientists, but also talks to other stakeholders. And then after, we have to convince them. So we don't talk the same way towards a non-profit organization. So we basically know our users, and researcher. We know they're interested by the research question and the fundings. We know that non-profit are interested by contributing to societal and environmental impact. Startups are interested, by fundings and partnering with actors that can accelerate their development. So basically, you have to understand what are the needs of the people you want to work with, and to make sure that the way you contact them really it's marketing. It's trying to fit with what the people need and not what you want. So it's and the good thing is that you really skill up, once you understand that, and when you enlarge your horizon of stakeholders, it's getting more and more easy. And I think it's really interesting as well in research, in the research world, because when we talk with researchers every day, they always work with the same usual suspects. So it's always intuitu personae, a relationship. They know each other. They've met during an event, and it's not a broadened approach of their project. It's really so how can we be innovative in the research if you're working always with the same people that you understand? Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone and ask for people who are going to challenge you. So the impact pathway is really interesting in that sense. It's because it forces you to ask yourself the right question: who are the people, the beneficiaries, the people who are going to be impacted by my research, the one that can help me enable or implement my solution. So it's really an exercise. It's usually we do the comparison with the entrepreneur. They use the business model Canva to help them, or business plan to help them structure their idea. What do I need as a financer? The marketing, where are my clients? So all those questions that the people are getting used to ask themselves, researchers don't ask themselves those questions. So the impact pathway is really a tool to make them see their projects in a different perspective. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yes, thanks a lot. I think that's probably exactly the way to go. Look at translating your language to the needs of those people you are trying to engage with. I think that's a key point. Yeah, but it's not easy though. So thanks for that, Julie. And speaking of impact, as the tool hasn't been online so far, I guess you so far have no experiences or kind of feedback from users in actual proposal writing processes. That would be interesting, if you already have received some insights from those actually not involved in developing it, but actually using it, and
yes.
how it works for the actual, does it increase the success rate of proposals, for instance?
Yeah, we are doing a pilot, so we are
Mhm.
currently running pilots. That's why the link I'll shared with you, but I don't know if it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's there we bug. One of the main challenge we face is that we have trouble with our team, our tech team, because we have to find people in emergency, and it was freelance work, and sometimes they vanished, and so. Don't worry, but we have 3 pilots in the way with the CEA, the French CEA, one RTOs in France with the French university, and one with a Spanish organization called IS Global. So they are going to prepare and to test the tool to compare with previous proposal to see the difference. And if you want to try, we can put you on the list as well, and to see if there is a real difference. And we are also organizing and hosting 2 workshops per month, one to demo the tool and one to explain to people how to use the impact pathway and how the tool works. Meaning, when we see, because sometimes we are independent assessor as well for projects, so we just share what we see, what we expect in proposal, and what we want to see as the outcome of the proposal.
Great. Excellent. Yes, please put me on the list. That would be lovely. And I don't know, probably the time is already up. Just one final question. Once like all the usual bugs are kind of solved in this tool, and things are running well, would you envision this tool being endorsed by the European Commission?
Well, we really would like to do so, because in France, for example, not on the impact pathway, but on a similar funding path, we've been working with a foundation, Health Foundation, and they wanted the researcher to do like a sort of impact pathway. So in their funding process, they really asked the question to make sure that researchers had to think about their impact. So if it's endorsed by the European Commission, and if even if the European solution, ask people to fill in through the tool their impact pathway, it would be easier to compare, all the programs through this lens, and to have a comparison between, everybody is answering the same way, and it could be really useful to transform, because we have, as I said, a cultural change to promote, and it's really slow.
Great. Thank you so much, Julie, and congratulations to you and the team.
Thank you very much. I'll share the link, but in the meantime, if you want to be on the waiting list to test the tool, please do not hesitate. And if you have questions, I'll share my email too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, they're asking in the chat so that you can share the link to the tool. So whenever you have time. Okay, so moving forward to Laura Raso from Arriba Project.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I will try to share my screen. Okay. Can you see my presentation? Yeah?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect.
Okay. So yes, good morning, and thank you, the whole reinforcing team for the opportunity to develop in our case the Arriba project, which is about early age entrepreneurship promotion to boost scientific technological vocation. It's a big name for this project, but it was a very insightful pathway for us to work in with primary schools. So I will explain further. First of all, we were two partners here. I think my colleague from Prismatico, which is a SME specialized in design thinking, lean up strategy, is here with us today. And I represent the Centro Europeo de Empresas e Innovación de Murcia, which is a non-profit private foundation specialized in the promotion of entrepreneurship and innovation here in Spain, in Murcia. And so on one side, we support technology-based company, but we also do a lot in fostering entrepreneurship at early ages. So for this, we partner to develop this project. So mainly what we wanted to achieve is on one side to contribute to foster social challenges through educational fields. And based on this multi-stakeholder and citizen approach, we wanted also to improve scientific and entrepreneurial vocation, and especially tackling primary school, because we believe that the decision of what will be studied by the students and the children, it has to be tackled very early. And then we also have an RI focus because we really wanted to promote this scientific entrepreneurship, but based on RI principle. So we determined some specific objectives, and the first objective we had was to identify and engage relevant actors, because we really needed to identify the key innovation drivers in the community, educational community. So we did a bit of work with them. We also did some research analysis. On one side, what is existing at entrepreneurial when we talk about entrepreneurial science, but also what are the needs of the curriculum and the academic content of certain students from primary school of the region of Murcia, to be sure that what we develop will be easily adopted by the users, by the end users, because it has to be aligned with what is compulsory to be taught. So we had some interviews with them, and so this research part helped us to really identify the needs and what should be included in the tool. Then we had the other objective was to co-create this educational resource. So in that regard, we had some workshop and a lot of concrete activities with the educational community, being teachers, students, but also experts, and to fine-tune the methodology and the tool. And then we also have in mind the development of this prototype, being a very didactic toolkit. And finally, we also carry out the proof of concept pilot one with 3 schools, more than 120 students, and some teachers and experts, which was very also interesting to bring some adjustment to the whole prototype. And we have the last specific objectives is to raise awareness. So we already started, but now we will keep on working on that. So this tool is called Science Stars. It's so far you can download it on the website of our organization, and I understand that it will be also accessible in the reinforcing platform. So just to give you a brief overview, it's a brief. The objective is really to foster deep understanding and engagement with scientific and technological concepts. It's really active, hands-on learning experience. It's very didactic. There's a methodology on one hand, some handbooks, and a lot of downloadable and editable cards, and you can print it and adapt it to your needs and to the objective. It's very straightforward to understand. As it has been tested, we know that it's very useful for the teacher also. And what is very interesting in the whole methodology is that it's tackle real life challenges that the children know. They can, for example, we did a pilot on autism where they could really work on some solutions to a specific challenges. So it's very straightforward. So our target group for this tool is students of 10 to 12 years old. And in terms of teachers, we really engage science and social science teachers. So the methodology is a step-by-step one, meaning that we start with the identification and selection of a mission, a Science Star mission. Then we go through the idea generation, the validation. They have to do interviews with users or about the price of the methodology, and they build a prototype. This is really interesting also to see how students go through the whole process and understand how we can have an idea and make it real and concrete and for this go-to-market strategy. So the component of the toolkit briefly, it is composed of challenge cards, technology cards, an idea map. It reminds me what has been presented by Dagmar at the beginning. A notebook for our entrepreneurs, and it's presented as a game box, so the prototype, let's say, but it also includes a teacher's guide, so really any teacher can download the whole toolkit and really implement it right away. So in terms of contribution to the RI, we really think that, for example, the social utility of science, it helps really the students to go through that, and they can really feel what is science and how it can support in daily life, which was one of the main input from that we received from the feedback that we received from the users. And also it fosters responsible scientific and entrepreneurial behavior. We also believe that the stakeholders' engagement in solving societal challenges was very important as a result of the whole process. And of course, science education, empowerment and autonomy, and the open access of the resources. I'm sorry for the sound, the noise in the background. So in terms of lessons learned, what we learned out of the whole process was that the outreach and engagement of the relevant stakeholders was a bit challenging for us, because we're targeting some specific age groups, specific teachers in the region of Murcia. So this was very challenging at the beginning, but once we find the right people, we had a really good approach, really good feedback, and a great involvement. Of course, when we work with school, and we had also to face some bureaucratic and logistic barriers because of the experiments and entering the school to do the piloting was somehow challenging. The limited resource, because we would have liked to have some broader tests with more students, with more classroom, and also maybe a different type of context, meaning social context from where the schools are based, etc. And time and resources constraint, because it was also for the implementation of methodology in the curriculum, we really need to have more time also to see and improve all the process. So in terms of strengths, we believe that to integrate the utility of science, it's a very it's a very interesting point for the students. It also permits them to actively understand that there are some issues, and science can provide resources to solve them. It was very interesting. Also, another strength, it's about that the tool is very linked to the curriculum of the region of Murcia, meaning that it's easy to implement. So in terms of scalability, we understand that we could go to different schools and propose the tools. And if we would like to scale, to have a more to scale, to provide to other type of school, we would need to do some more analysis at national level, for example. Another point is the role of inventor among students of this age. It creates a wow effect. So it's something that we were really noticed during the implementation. And as I said, I can have an idea, and it can really be built. So it was very interesting. And the methodology, as it is designed, it fosters commitment to science, which for us was also impactful to see really this connection with scientific world. So now we are working on the opportunities that we have right now. So as I said, to the expansion to more schools. So this week, next week, we will have also some meetings with the regional government to see how we can expand the tool. Because we believe that this is hands-on methodology, that they can download cards, etc. So we really think that it could be a good point. We also believe that we could integrate some new projects, maybe mathematics, language arts, social studies, etc. It is possible also to customize it to different age group, because as I said, we really stick on 10 to 12. But with some adaptation, we could broaden it a bit, and incorporating IT, AI tools as well, and make it more digital. So the next step would be the refinement of the methodology to make some adjustments, develop this resource kits, and have some more community engagement and scaling the program. So thank you very much. Thank you, Reinforced Team, for the opportunity. And I will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Laura. So now Maria Jose from EBN will make you a question.
Hello, thanks, Lord. Thanks, Marina, as well. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for the nice job and the very interesting idea that you came up with. And well, I think I'm gonna do only one question because I think we are a bit ahead of behind the time. But basically, I would like to know more about the process that you followed to engage citizens, to engage the stakeholders, the ecosystem, the government, and everything in terms of if you had faced any kind of barriers or problems while doing that.
Yes, the main issue was that we work a lot with schools, but maybe more from a different age, upper age, and we believe that it would be easier to approach the school with such a methodology and the idea, but it was a bit challenging. Also because of the timeline, because the project started in May, and we started with the analysis, the research phases, and the interview. The first interview was, I think, end of June and July, which was not the best time for the academic course. So we first try with networking and contacts, especially with school. And as I said, we found some really innovation drivers, meaning teachers who are very committed to test new processes. And this was very helpful to open us a bit the door of this. And for the piloting phase, we also did some networking, but also through some the regional government of the channels they have to contact the schools. And as we presented, we had a final event in December, and we could present the results. And there we had the municipality representative of education who participated, and they show a lot of interest in the methodology. So we believe that now it's going to be easier also if we would like to scalable the whole methodology. And as I said, now we will have a meeting also with the regional government that is in charge of the school here.
Sounds great. Definitely you will find a way to continue on it. Last question, maybe, that you were mentioning some benefits that the students that could find and everything, but I would like to know if you really have seen like any kind of specific benefits that they came out with I mean, while using the tool, for example.
You mean for the well, okay, for the teacher, the main benefit was to have an innovative tool that they can directly use, because it's also adaptable. You can use it in different sessions. You can use it for different missions aligned with SDG. I mean, you can choose any mission that is can fit to the academic program. So this was the main benefit, we would say, from the teacher, and also that it was meaningful to the students, because they could really have an idea of on one side from the idea to a solution, but also at entrepreneurship level, because they were working like any entrepreneur. You have an idea, you have to validate this idea, do some interview, make your prototype, and have a strategy to go to market. So it was very meaningful. And for the children, the first thing, and I would say the major thing, was the enjoyment. They really enjoyed doing this pilot, the prototype, when you could see them, that they were so happy that it makes sense, and So this was really important, and this real life approach for them, and we believe that it brings some seeds for them to to have to have an open mind on these topics, and really to see how concrete can be their idea and how are useful, because we saw how the creativity they have to develop solutions for the problem of autism, for example. It was very enlightful for us as adults and as specialized in business development. It was very interesting.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to you, really. Thanks to the whole reinforcing team, and I'm really sorry for the noise in the background. I will take a look at this right away. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara. We didn't notice that much, so.
Okay,
Okay.
I did, so I felt very stressed. I'm really sorry.
Okay, so next, it's the Euro models from Dimitar will present this project. Hello, Dimitar.
Hello, how are you guys? Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Just a second. And I cannot see where it is. I cannot, not willing to share. Aha, okay. I hope you can see it now.
Almost.
Yeah, we can see
Okay.
it.
Perfect. So yes, I'm being attacked by a cat. Don't mind that. So hello, my name is Dimitar. I'm presenting the way to unlock open research business models for the digital euro environment. So let's start with, okay, what is the digital euro and why the heck is it so interesting and important? So obviously we've all heard that it's not just cash, but it's a fundamental infrastructure change. So what would that mean for the average guy and girl on the street? So imagine, for instance, now for firms in the Eurozone, the average waiting time for their invoices to be paid is between 15 and 35 days, which is a lot especially if you're a small business. Using that options provided by the digital euro, that can be reduced to a couple of days. And that is going to make a whole lot of difference for so many firms. Or, for instance, if you happen to be investing in the next new shiny digital thing, and it turns out to be a scam, which unfortunately happens so often, the digital euro infrastructure would actually allow you to claw back that money and not be scammed, which is going to be such a great relief, especially for people in vulnerable situations like elderly or people that are not so versed in a business like our kind colleagues just before us were talking. So pretty much all of these wonderful options and many more are based on a public infrastructure that the European Central Bank is going to create, and all those options are actually something that private companies are going to build on top of it. So they're going to be something based on research. And as we know, the point of the traditional model of monetizing research, so the traditional business model, is imagine a dragon sitting on top of its gold chest, which in our case would be some secret know-how or certain IP rights, and trying to keep everyone away, which is really bad news for the average Joe and Jill on the street, because when we are talking about how the European economy is going to change in a very near future, we want it to be inclusive, we want it to be rapid, we want it to have all those wonderful things that open research benefits brings, like enhanced quality, faster innovation, wider society benefits, scaling considerably and fastly. So all that is going to be kind of stopped by backwards business model. And the challenge is to overcome those bottlenecks and put the full potential of open research into the digital economy, riding on the back of the digital euro. So here comes reinforcing, and I must yell for their kind help building a data-driven guidance tool for trying to show small companies predominantly, but not only, everyone who is actually interested, that there is a third way. There is the possibility to actually have financial sustainability, financial profitability, long-term sustainability and long-term goals, while at the same time you are actually having your research done in the public, done in an open way, done in a manner that is going to benefit everyone else, but it's also going to benefit you. And this is the core of our tool, which I'm going to go in quite a bit more detail in just a few seconds. And yeah, this is pretty much how it looks. There are several main elements that need to be talked about. The first one is obviously the methodology. Now, I think that you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that rocket science and research in the digital euro are two very different things. And what applies for one does not really necessarily apply for the other. So what we did with the methodology is tried to create and distill really the specific conditions that are present in the emerging digital euro ecosystem, and try to take those under consideration and really pinpoint very closely and very carefully what is important for those entrepreneurs that are going to build their products on the digital euro. Then, of course, there is the questionnaire. The questionnaire, I'm again going to talk about that in more details down the road, but the questionnaire is a kind of a tool that is providing replies and matchmaking kind of between a open business model and the needs of a certain business. And of course, there is the educational part. And I think that I should really stress on that one. We have made substantial efforts not just to spit some amount of information at the people that are using our tool, but also to provide them the content, the context, and additional resources. So first the questionnaire, and since I see that I'm running a little bit off my usual schedule, I will go directly to the screenshots. So this is how it looks. Pretty much the idea here is that you have certain amount of questions that are considering key elements of any business and key elements of businesses that are based on the digital euro. And then the managers of the companies are answering those. It takes a couple of minutes, it's not really long. And then they receive a kind of a match what open business model is going to really be best matched for them. And there is, of course, the issue of the educational videos. You see those in the next slide. So as soon as the users see what best would match their business needs, they can get much more information, and really we tried to make that concise. So we're really trying to keep it in 2 minutes or so, each of the videos for each of the models. And those are something that can be short, accessible. You can facilitate informed decision making by clearly stating, okay, this is the revenue model of that model, or this is the customer base of this model. This is how they interact. Now, the kicker from our research and from what we did, and we'll get to the lessons in just a second, but the kicker is that you can actually create a bespoke open research model based on different models that are out there. So you can really say, oh, for my specific thing that I'm doing, I really want to get this and that revenue stream, but I don't like the approach towards customers. I would like to take it from the third model and really create something that is unique for your specific business and for your specific situation. And this hybridization of the model is something that really would fit wonderfully in what we are proposing for companies to do using our tool. Now, lessons learned, and this would be the last 2 minutes of my presentation, I promise. So the first one is walking the walk and talking the talk. So our own company really created a bespoke business model, jumbling up different elements from actually 4 different business models that are out there, and really focused on the long-term value creation. So we are looking at how we can really move the focus from something that is, let's say, 6 months down the road to something that is 6 years down the road. And that moving the focus really creates a substantial difference in value creation. The second lesson is adaptation and hybridization. So if your company has taken a certain business model, it doesn't mean that it's written in stone and you cannot change. Actually, quite on the contrary. In some time, you may choose to adopt different revenue streams or to adopt different billing strategies to your consumers. So this idea that you stick with the business model you have is something we really discourage, because we don't think it's something that for the emerging digital euro ecosystem is going to be beneficial. Being adaptable, being flexible is something that is going to make the difference for the digital economy of Europe. Okay. Now, I am going to ask you if you have the wish to do so, to check our tool, and I want to thank you all for being here and giving us the opportunity to present. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, sorry, my video was up. Sorry, so now our colleague Raul will ask you a question, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Marina. Thank you, Dimitri, for your presentation. Really interesting topic. I mean, this digital euro thing, because I think that is going to be, it's going to have a lot of implications for society, for the European society in the next coming years. And just to have a quick reaction from my side, and also to give you some room for giving us further details, I have two questions, simple questions. One is mainly related with the kind of disadvantaged communities that you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation. I mean, the elderly people or other people with non-advanced digital skills that can be affected by this. And I was wondering if you have any kind of feedback of your project in relation to this kind of communities. And the second one is mostly related with the users of the tools that probably are companies that are tinkering and experimenting with this digital business model. So I was wondering, because I mean, the tool provides some sort of diagnostic of this business model, but then all of us know that a business model is something that you co-create with your potential clients, with your potential suppliers, and that kind of thing. So it's a long journey. So I was wondering if you have been thinking in extending the tool or something like that, yeah, for that purpose.
Okay, so one by the time. So on the first question about disadvantaged communities, so what I really would like to stress here is how it's going to operate, because it's already clear. The European Central Bank is going to create the infrastructure, and invite everyone to participate and play with that infrastructure. And precisely during that play, if you have, let's say, some solution for blind people in Portugal and some solution for blind people in Poland, they're going to have to face the same challenges. Okay, Poland is not yet part of the Eurozone, but let's say France. So they're going to face the same challenges, and if they actually collaborate, and if they have their research open, and if they are trying to solve the same problems, their own kind of solution can be scaled up much faster, can be done in a way that can really provide much more revenue, much more financial benefits. And this is really the thing that we are trying to stress here. What the open research provides as a main financial incentive for businesses to adopt it is that by going open, the potential for their income increases substantially. And by being closed and trying to protect their rights and to do all that stingy stuff, their profitability options in really not very long run diminishes. And this kind of change of perspective, we think, is extremely important. So on more concretely on the issue, do I personally know some companies that are doing stuff for blind people? Actually, yes. Have I spoken with them? Yes. Are they thinking, oh, that might be interesting to try to go open? And yeah, actually, he's a Portuguese, so that's why I used the Portugal example. He's a really nice guy, and he was actually thinking doing it open just for the benefit of the blind people, which is very noble of him. But nobility aside, from really the perspective of how to make something much better, I think this is the open research is the way to go. Now, sorry for taking so long for the first answer. The second answer is no, we don't think again that it would be best to try to commercialize the tool. Obviously, I think that it would be best to try to keep it open as possible, and really try to collaborate with people on that tool on the go. So from our very kind of small perspective, we don't look to commercialize this tool. However, we would be really thrilled to commercialize any collaboration with people that are using the tool, for the simple reason that in many cases the products are complementary. We are working our own research, and I'm finishing with that. Sorry for taking so long. Our own research is looking at debt collection, so debt collection within the digital euro framework, and how that is going to happen. This can be integrated in a dozen of different applications because they are complementary. And I think that this is a really wonderful time to try to shift the paradigm, to try to really be collaborative as possible, because being collaborative this time around, I'm very convinced, is being profitable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your words.
Thank you, Dimitar. So we're a bit tight in schedule, so moving fast to the next, our next grantee, which is the Talk Eye Tracking Project.
Hi.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Agnese Sala, and I work with Francesca Papini in Fondazione TOG. We try to move fast through our presentation.
Okay. Do you see our screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So, just a brief introduction in order to better understand our slides. In Fondazione TOG, we take care for free of children with neurological pathologies, and a lot of our kids cannot express themselves because they have difficulties, communication difficulties. And for this reason, starting in 2019, we decided to introduce in our therapies the eye tracker tools. So it's a significant technology that help our therapies and children to create a relation and to help children to express themselves. We decided to use the opportunity of the ORRI call to define a collaboration process. So this is our tool that we developed during the past months to a collaboration process between the four main stakeholder categories that use the eye tracker in order to help the children and improve their quality of life. So thanks to the tool, we learn how to dialogue with this stakeholder, and we define proper structure of meetings, question, proper time schedule to help them to express needs, challenges, and also to better understand the context where this eye tracker is used in the daily life of our children and the stakeholder. And we decided to work on this process because we really believe that co-creation is fundamental to better understand the needs and also to better understand how to respond to the needs in a proper way. So we yes, we work on each stakeholder user personas that we defined, and we also have a kind of a final meeting with a specific technique that is a fishbowl, managed and conducted by our neuropsychiatric, because she is the person capable to kind of sum up all the what was expressed during this meeting. And okay, we for sure faced a lot of challenges and fatigue also because we worked with different categories, so children, parents, teachers, and each of them for sure has their own needs and vocabulary and etc. But I think that what was really interesting during the past month, and that this thanks to this project, we define a process that we can for sure can replicate in other contexts. And what we have learned is that we can use this process also to answer to other needs, because we use it and we define it and use it for the technology to arrive new software and to update the software that we already using during therapies. But we already decided to replicate our tool in other contexts, starting from a simple idea that we starting collecting from the parents of our kids. Marina, I don't know if it was
okay,
clear.
sorry.
You
Sorry,
asked
I
us to run,
didn't.
so I ran. I'm sorry, but
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that you. Okay, so Giulia, our partner from from Aachen University will move forward with the questions.
Yes, thank you, Marina, and thank you both so much for presenting your tool. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Oh, well enough. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a fascinating software that you developed, and actually your software, your core product, so to speak, has RRI at its heart as well, because it empowers some of the most vulnerable and marginalized people, and it addresses market failures in a really good way. And it makes me personally very happy that Reinforcing was able to help you improve the software that you've
Thank you so much
developed.
for your words.
So in this regard, I especially appreciated this comprehensive approach that you followed by really trying to involve all of the stakeholders in eliciting user needs and improving the software that you already have. And when looking through your presentation and the different images, I tried to put myself into the position of someone who is bed or wheelchair bound, who's not really able to speak or able to gesture, and this is really difficult, if not impossible. Yeah. And this thought experiment actually made me realize also the challenge that the ORRI tool you developed might face. So I have two questions actually. One about the ORRI tool. I was wondering how you can ensure that the different user personas that you have developed reflect the needs of the different stakeholders, in particular of the children or patients, which of course have very diverse neurological abilities or disabilities, pathologies as well. And secondly, I was wondering if you already have plans. I mean, your software is available for free, I understood, to scale it further, to make it better known, whether it's going to be how you're going to plan to make it used more widely, which would be fantastic.
Okay, I hope to understand your question. Thinking about the first one, we know that children has different needs, and in order to answer, we know our children with neurological pathologies, because we know that the eye tracker can be used by a lot of people with other pathologies. So for sure we share, and we starting from our know-how that is really connected to this kind of kids. So we cannot say that we better understand all the needs of all the kids that can use the tool, because I mean we starting from our experience. We Francesca for sure pointed out in the final paper that we share with you, we would like to engage, for example, the siblings of these kids, because it's really, we work with our kids and their parents and their teacher, but we would like to collect also the point of view and the needs of their siblings and the other peers. This could be really cool, but we didn't have the opportunity, and so probably we miss this in order also to understand the children needs in general, so not only ours. And thinking about the opportunity of scale, what we see, also receiving some feedbacks, but also some, I don't know, call from other partners, is that this technology is having there are a lot of attention on the eye tracker, also in the technology community. So what we would like is to create and develop new partnership with directly with WHO produce the hardware, because this is also another key factor if we would like to broaden what we learn, they be on board for sure, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Two great plans. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
I'll hand back to you, Marita.
Okay, thank you. So last but not least, the DEEP project.
Hello, everyone. I'm Francesca from FTS, and there should be somewhere here also the other Francesca that is going to present together with me. Yes, here she is. So Francesca, if you want to share your screen. Okay, so this is about Project DEEP, and we want to share with you the results of the project that has been done by the two of us, and the main aim was to enable an existing project, so disable data. We are an Italian company. We were born in 2019, and we are mainly dealing with vulnerable people, meaning subjects with neurological damages, epilepsy, or complex pathologies and other conditions, because we are kind of spin-off of Fight the Stroke Foundation. So our aim is to match the needs of the people and provide a sustainable solution within a social enterprise model. So this is part of what we have done here with you together with this project. Next, please. I don't know, Francesca, if you want to put in presentation mode. Thanks. So the contest, the starting point was this project that we ran in back in 2012, 2022, sorry. It's called Disable Data. It was a platform that aimed to make disability data, so data around people with disabilities in a certain territory. In this case, the pilot project was in Italy. To make this data available not only to everyone, but also accessible to people with disability themselves. So we, thanks to this project, we opened a window on the data around this phenomenon, because first people even didn't know how many people with disability there were in Italy. But on the other hand, we supported all citizens, especially vulnerable categories, in researching and understanding the data and how to read this data. Next, please. Francesca, I leave it to you if you want to explain the project overview.
Okay. So hi, everyone. So the main scope of this project was to see how we could scale disabled data at the European level and understand what should have been the right path. So we wanted to systematize our approach, the approach used to develop disability data in Italy, and understand how to move beyond that, widen the available data set, and promote this kind of approach in civil society. So that's what we did. We tried to consolidate our ORRI approach. We mapped and engaged the stakeholders, and then we are trying now to replicate and scale. So we first structured a framework, and I'm going very fast here, but again, we looked for other disability data platforms all over the world, global, local, and to be honest, we found very little things, and they had poor data. Very often they were not only not consistent among them, the data were saying different things, but sometimes they were not consistent even within. So data didn't match, and very often they were not updated. So a very sad situation if you look at it from our perspective. And so we started mapping who are the key stakeholders to make disability data platform work well and collect the right, useful, interesting data. So with this mapping, we identified many categories of people, experts, of course, persons with disabilities and organizations that represent their needs and their expectations. And from all these categories of people, we identified some key person who can have the understanding and the willingness to contribute, and we interviewed them. It was a quite deep interview, and trying to collect what they see as a problem and what they are their perspective and how do they think they can collaborate to that. So in the end, we systematized all this inside in a toolkit, and this is what we called Candy. Candy, because we believe that if we make people contribute and collaborate following the ORRI principles, we get to a sweet spot. So this toolkit, these publications help every single stakeholders to understand who are the other stakeholders to be involved for collecting data on disability, and support them to understand how they can contribute, what they should do. Sometimes we also highlight what they should stop doing. And then this Candy also represents an acronym that stands for Create Consensus, Ask New Questions, Nurture Data Collection, Demystify Data About Disabilities, and Say Yes to Access, Reuse, and Distribution. In the publication, you will see all these key points explained, and also for each category of stakeholder that you can see in the Candy on the right, there are recommendations on what we expect or we hope different categories of stakeholders will do and to collaborate with others. Definitely, we think it's a process that there's not a perfect way to reach the end goal and only way. We believe we need to work both on the grassroots level and on the top-down approach, let's say, so from big international institutions and from grassroots organizations, for example. Each of them can do steps forward and understand what others are doing. They need to align on classification and methodologies, but step by step, we will reach the sweet spot at the center. That means we will have enabled data on disability to be collected, spread, and used properly. Fra, you want to go back?
Yes, what we learned here, well, of course, we knew already that people with lived experience often are seen like a lot of bias and prejudice. So they think, especially doctor or expert in the field of academic research, feel that they are not authorized to ask for better data. So we think that what we learn is that we need more participatory method to co-design and to sit all together at the same table when we define the type of survey, the type of data, the context, since the beginning. So that's why we also include what we call the inclusive design methodology in this approach. Also, high-level lobbying action is needed, especially at European level, in order to harmonize and convince policymakers and lawmakers that we need this data. So it's just not for the sake of having data, but just because we need it if we want to monitor how policies are going forward and how the rights of people with disability are respected. So internally, we also learned how to systematize. I've seen that someone asked in the chat, how did we map at the beginning? It was interesting because coming from the experience of the previous project, we already knew who were the main stakeholders, but it was a good chance for both of us to sit together and define that we cover all the stakeholders in each different field. So next, please, Francesca. So in terms of future, our Candy Model Dissemination Toolkit is already available on our website, so you can download from there in Italian and in English. We also spread it towards our community base that is made by more than 6,000 people. We are also aiming to promote the disabled data platform as an open platform in which other people can build upon what we have done so far. Also, we think that we need more effort to work at European level to map other type of stakeholder, and probably an idea of a conference and an idea of something open in which also we take the chance of the European Accessibility Act to talk together around this topic could help to solve the issue that we faced so far. And also another big goal is something that we are aiming since a long period. Let the Italian Statistical Office is set to release the Italian Registry of People with Disabilities. That will be probably the solution at local level of all the troubles that we experienced so far. So I think that is everything from us. So we'll be happy to get your question if you have, but also feel free to use and reuse and share our toolkit.
Thank you, Francesca.
Thank you.
So now Benjamin, representing our partner Sticky Dot, will do the last question.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Francesca, for your really engaging presentation, and congrats as well on the work done. From the topic, really interesting, and also the way you demonstrate the innovative approach to disability data, how you demonstrate that your approach goes beyond existing practices and existing approaches based on the multi-stakeholder engagement, the participatory approach. So I found it really, really interesting. I just have a question about the Candy model, which is really interesting as well, the way you use it and the way you use it and you demonstrate that it's a methodological model as well. So I just have a question about the last letter of the acronym, the Y, which refers to yes to access, reuse, and distribution. So I just have a general question about the promotion of the toolkit. How do you encourage the access and the use to the toolkit by direct beneficiaries? So it's kind of a question about the strategy for the uptake of the toolkits.
Go, Francesca, if you want to explain.
Well, first of all, it comes, of course, from the understanding of the needs of open access and open data approach. And so all the stakeholders that we have interviewed will be also be super supportive with us in sharing the tool. And many of them are people involved in open data how can I say, promotion. We just stopped them before we had this call with you. So that will be like a boost in starting the understanding. But generally speaking, it's about including the idea of open access since the very early stage of any project related to collecting data. So when you do a survey, you must include the information that the data will be made public. When you do a research in university, you need to be aware that even if you have private funders, you will tell them that the data will be open and accessible for everyone, and they can't ask for copyrights, for example. So it's really important to include this why since the very stage of any project related to that, so that then you can do that, because very often there are limitations due to copyrights, and we want to overcome.
Definitely, yeah. And I have another question about more the process, and it is linked with the question from Julie in the chat about the message, how you manage to, to map the stakeholders, how you manage to engage the stakeholders and to have this kind of collection of data from different stakeholders. Can you share a bit your methods to map the different stakeholders?
So first of all, we were lucky enough to have the long story of not only FTS, but Fight the Stroke Foundation behind that has been working in this field for many, many years. And it has been always recognized as one of those organizations that is able to deal both with people with disabilities and scientific side of the analysis, or doctors and hospitals. So, and also technological experts. So there's a lot in FTS that brings already a connection with multiple stakeholders. But when you get to data, each stakeholders also brought us to other stakeholders, right? We were speaking with the statistical offices and they were telling us about their problems. And so we say, okay, who's creating new problems? And that's how we identified other stakeholders and so on. So it's been like how can I say, like spiders do, right? So the net is going organically. And I think in the end, we reached everyone that was supposed to be there. I don't know if I answered.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much again for your presentations and yeah, and your answers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. And thank you, Rolf, that I think it's leaving. We'll make the presentations available to everyone, so no worries. Now, just the last couple of minutes are for Angela and our guest speaker, Giulia, who will make some final reflections over responsible open innovation and the future.
Thank you, Marina, and congratulations again for all the 6 projects, for their outcomes and especially the tools. So the idea of having this cascading grant mechanism is also to have a cascading ORRI mechanism. The idea to produce these tools is to replicate the experiences that the grantees had along the course of the project and implementation of the project to get the results and the processes especially available for further organizations and institutions willing to replicate and adapt these processes in their own settings. So I hope that these tools can really generate new knowledge, new practices across the Europe about ORRI. And I would like to reflect upon and discuss about this with our keynote speaker, keynote dialogue speaker, I would say, Giulia Bubbolini, which is a friend of Reinforcing because she has a long experience in open and responsible innovation in particular. She is a Chief Operating Officer of CISE, a special agency of the Chamber of Commerce in Romagna for Lices and Rimini in Italy, and also a very long experience in conducting and coordinating interreg projects dealing with responsible innovation together with small medium enterprises, but also local government agencies. So really a broad spectrum of experience in the practices of responsible innovation. So welcome, Giulia. Thank you for being here today with us and for your patient attention to our project. I would like to know from you what is your feeling about the results came up from our 6 grantees just presented. So do you think that these tools can really generate other practices? So how do you feel about these results? We cannot hear you, unfortunately. Yeah, we have technical problems in hearing. So we can see your lips moving, but okay. Let's try.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. So first of all, thank you for having me, and apologies for trying and test new earbuds, which I shouldn't have, quite evidently. So yeah, what I think is that reinforcing has done a very great job, a very clever job with this boost call, because it has, challenged the applicants to do better, starting from something that was already, within their set of experiences and knowledge and expertise, from something that was material to them. And starting from them, it triggered improvement, further reflection. And at the end of the day, what we saw from the presentation today is that the results were very tangible ones, very practical ones, tools that they have been using during this month, they will be using the next month, and that triggered a lot of interest, from the other parties in the room this morning. So I think that it really, the call was really on point, and it shows from the results. If I were to summarize what I heard today from my many page notes, is that, and I will start from the very first project, is that open, responsible innovation triggers a positive chain reaction. It improves the expertise and the know-how within the organization, but it's spread forward because it shows stakeholders that they can have a say and how they can have their saying. But it also spills over on the entire industry and maybe even beyond that. And then from Soul Science, we learned how this can only be done by building a common language. So it is essential that all the parties around the table are given the tools and the jargon to really communicate and have a meaningful dialogue in order for the process to deliver actual responsible innovation. And even more so from Arriba, we learned that it is important to be able to build a mindset from the very early age in order to have innovators, but also stakeholders that are able and interested into molding innovation into something that generates impact for everyone. And on the other hand, unless you have very hands-on tools like the ones that were presented today, but what I have in mind right now is the Europe one. There's tool, there's the questionnaire, there's examples, there's videos. Unless you come up with a toolbox that really provides hinges for the process to be carried out, it's a very difficult job. It really remains up in the air. And at the end of the day, and I'm thinking of the TOG project now, at the end of the day, there are things that we cannot assume to know. There are experiences that are very, very personal. And unless we ask those people, unless we find ways to engage them and involve them in the process, whatever we do will always be just a proxy of the ideal solution. Of course, this is not an easy job to do. And from the DEEP project, what it made me think is that you can get this kind of knowledge by engaging with people, stakeholders, and so on and so forth. But you need to turn that into a knowledge that is robust. You have to engage and you have to consolidate the knowledge that you get from such engagement. So maybe, and my last comment is for you, Angela, and I remember a recent conversation that we had, maybe we really need data ethicists to enable this process. So for me, it's been a very, very interesting morning, and I thank you for your presentations. So, a lot of things, right?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Giulia. A further take in general responsible open innovation, because we challenged ourselves to focus our attention for our first open call or responsible open innovation. Open innovation is absolutely well known and diffused across companies. I would say that every company in the world, small, medium enterprise, big companies, know what open innovation entails, how to conduct open innovation, what are the dynamics, what are the mechanisms and the actors. There are many studies and also departments in School of Management reflecting on open innovation. Responsible innovation has not the same lackiness, and perhaps we really struggle a lot to work with companies and innovation actors and to, in a way, convince them to undertake responsible innovation. So first, I would like to ask you why this happens. So why did we fail to spread over responsible innovation, and perhaps we need to learn from the experience of open innovation on how to really get this process well known and well implemented in the innovation ecosystem. And the further things that combining responsibility to the concept of open innovation for us is reinforcing, of course, is really essential, because open innovation doesn't include and entail the involvement of societal actors, ethical reflection, reflections and actions on diversity and inclusion, all these elements that we have really actually seen in the project that we have funded. That for us, these elements are really important. And so this combination of responsibility and openness can really make the difference for the innovation ecosystem. But of course, all these activities on ethics and diversity and inclusion and societal engagement cost a lot. And this means investment for companies and innovation organization. But perhaps this is not just a nice to have, a luxury, but something, an investment really good to be done, because for many reasons we need more than ever in the current situation to work on these kind of processes. So yeah, I would like to know from your experience working day by day with companies and also local governments, some reflection about the present and the future of open of responsible open innovation.
Wow, this is a huge question. And in terms of where we failed, I don't think we really failed. The thing is, unlike CSR, RRI demands not just to question business as usual, but really ask you to question your own values. Because with CSR, which is something that we're very good at doing, so to speak, you know, you have your own values and you go out in society and you try to walk your talk, to stand by your word, to do things that align with your own values. With RRI, what you're doing is opening up to the possibilities that your values do not represent the whole society, that there are issues out there that you don't know, that you're not your own, but if you want to have a role in society as a company, and the thing is you have it, so you just have to decide how to unfold it, you need to really engage and ask and to reflect on yourself. So reflexivity is one of the operational dimension of RRI. And of course, when you come to terms with the fact that you don't know everything, you know, and you need help and you need information from the outside world or from your stakeholders, then there's the issue of engagement, which is expensive if you think about it in the traditional way, you know, gathering a lot of people talking to them and really delving into the detail of the process and your innovation, that is super expensive. It can only be done when there's money coming from projects. So maybe what we should do now is to really understand how to better use data that are available out there, how to get them, how to work with them, and integrate them by engaging directly with people when data are failing us. And then once we build those missing data, making them available in an open way. And also, this is an experiment, for instance, that we're doing with a project that is called Ginevra. It's about automated vehicles for public mobility. We're trying two different processes. One is a process of just discussing, and another is a process that also involves demos. Because ideally, when you're talking a tech innovation, you would want to try it out. So that would be the very expensive process of having a vehicle coming over and having people stepping on the vehicle. So our question is, maybe it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So we're having pilots with the demo and we're having pilots without the demo. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we don't need maybe to go full Monty with this engagement, but we could be creative about it and really, use the data that are available, reuse experience from others, and then integrate with actual people around the table only when it's strictly necessary. Of course, this is a nice part, so giving up that part may be sad in a way, but we also need to make RRI viable, because for small and medium enterprises, that's where it fails, because it's not, this engagement thing is not viable. We cannot skip it, because as Angela was saying, we don't want to do open innovation as in design thinking, which is cool and fun. We want to do open innovation for responsible innovation. So we want to do the cool part, but not, not getting away with the tough part of challenging our values and really listening to people. And I think, although, just don't listen to Donald Trump. I don't think responsible innovation is dead. I think it's actually where Europe can build its competitive advantage, because companies nowadays, they're not just competing for clients, they're also competing for talents. And what I hear from, the much younger generation than mine is that, they want to have a meaningful experience during their working hour. They just don't want to, work and go home and have a beer, buy something nice, buy a house with what they earn, but they want to make, bring change as they work, not just after work. So I think this is really what we can build our competitive advantage upon. And so as European enthusiasts, I think we must keep try and engage, especially SMEs, in this responsible innovation affair.
Thanks a lot, Giulia, for this message. Of course, reinforcing is really revolving around this message, and we think we can build upon this in the next few weeks and months and year. We will end up in February 2027, so we have a lot of work to be done, but also to create a community that can go along for a long time in supporting also Europe, making its research and innovation ecosystem more open and responsible, and really dealing with the big questions of our global societies. But definitely the European approach can be different through the lens of responsibility and openness. I suppose there is a comment or a question from Julie for you, Giulia.
Yes, thank you very much, Angela, and thank you, Giulia. I agree with you almost totally. I think there is a little bit of a failure, because to me the barrier, the main barrier to RRI is really the mindset of researcher, in the way of, and it's a researcher who told me that. He said, because we are researcher and we do things very thoroughly, very structurally and with methods, we believe that we are only the experts. And we think that the stakeholders we're going to use them to collect data, to engage and to serve our research. and there is not a two-way communication and engagement. And I think this is the biggest failure of ORRI today, because the more you're going to work with other stakeholders that are not academic, the more you're going to embrace ORRI, because you're going to see how it enrich the projects, the scientific questions, the process, and also the iterative way of, you know, getting out of the lab, testing with the user, testing with the people who are impacted by your project, and then they are going to get back to you to give you feedbacks and data. So it's a two-way communication, and it's not a top-down, you know, research to society. And I think it's a really we need to experiment more this type of collaboration, so that people understand how it can be beneficial for everyone. Thank you.
Oh, I actually agree with you, Julie. The thing is, I come from a Chamber of Commerce. We're the agency of a Chamber of Commerce. So we do engage with research people, but we mostly deal with the results of the research, you know. So because SMEs, you know, they struggle to work with academia and with researchers. So what they do is they use the results of research, the results of the applied research. So I am used to talk about responsible innovation and not so much about responsible research and innovation, because I see what you're saying, and on the other hand, as a Chamber of Commerce, I don't have that much leverage. So what I tend to do is not to bump against the same obstacle over and over. So in a way, what I'm thinking is, whenever we engage with academia, we try and make them see the error of their ways to some extent. But what I'm trying to do is really to teach SMEs how to choose different research results and how to embed them in their to market innovations. But I agree with what you're saying. Sometimes academia and researchers, they think that they have it's like with poets, they can do what they want because it's poetry, right? Which I don't think it's right. I mean, there's like the most advanced research can look up in the air and find whatever there is left to find. But most research and research that is funded with public money should really have a mission. And you don't know what your mission is unless you discuss with the people that are facing the issue. So I do agree with you. And this is why I tend to stick to responsible innovation. I leave the research part to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Giulia. We can have hours and hours of this kind of conversation, and perhaps we can think about having side event sessions on this thematic. Thanks a lot for your experience and for your suggestion and comments. And definitely it's time to wrap up this webinar. And so I leave the floor and the final words to Maria Jose.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Giulia, as well, for your reflection, your comments, the enriching discussion we had. But especially I would like to thank all the grantees that have been going through all this journey, really dealing with huge challenges, huge barriers, but they really came up with huge outcomes, successful projects and everything. So I would like to thank you all as well, to the audience, to be here today. And I would like to wish you a very nice weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
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 Thanks.
Good job.
Bye.